To read anyone's mind, you need to know 3 techniques. These techniques are crucial to master. By mastering these methods, you can effortlessly discern and grasp what anyone is pondering. So let me tell you a Buddhist tale that will teach you how to read the minds of others. But before we continue, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon for peaceful wisdom and inner reflections. In a small village long ago, 2 brothers lived together. The older brother was blind, so he spent most of his time at home, while the younger brother worked as a farmer. However, their farm was constantly being destroyed by animals in the fields. The younger brother was troubled by this problem, but he eventually came up with a solution. He thought, why not ask my blind brother for help to scare away the animals in the fields? He can sit in the field and shout if he hears any animal sounds, and in this way our crops will be saved. After considering it, the younger brother built a small hut in the field and placed the elder brother inside it. He explained to him, "Brother, if you hear any animal sounds, just shout, and the animals will run away. This will save our crops." The elder brother agreed to his younger brother's idea and began sitting in the field. Whenever he heard the sound of animals, he shouted and scared them away. They continued this practice for many days. One day, a deer ran through the field and broke the fence before running away. Shortly after, a king who was pursuing the deer also came to the field. The king noticed the blind brother and asked him, "Have you seen a deer here?" The blind brother replied truthfully, "Your Majesty, I am blind. How can I see a deer?" However, he continued, "I can tell you that the animal that left my field is not worth chasing. You are wasting your time." The king was astonished by the blind brother's words and questioned how he knew this. The king asked, "Are you lying? How can you, being blind, speak about the worthiness of the deer?" In response, the blind brother stated, "Your Majesty, the animal you believe to be a deer is actually a pregnant doe. I have never heard of a king hunting a pregnant doe, so I'm telling you that she is not worth your pursuit. You should not waste your time chasing after her." The king was left astonished upon hearing this. He was unable to comprehend how the blind person could identify the doe as pregnant. He pondered, how can a blind person know this? How can he be sure whether the deer I am chasing is pregnant or not? How can he confidently inform me of this despite being blind? The king felt the need to verify this and instructed his commander, "Commander, I want that animal alive. I need to confirm whether it is indeed a pregnant doe. The blind man seems to be very sure about this, and I need to investigate. Please go and find out if she is pregnant." The king's orders were received by the commander, who proceeded to track the deer. When he returned, he informed the king that the blind brother was correct and that the doe was indeed pregnant. The king was filled with wonder and couldn't figure out how the blind person had known about the doe's pregnancy. The king had many questions in his mind and decided to ask the blind man to get to the bottom of this. "Look, I may not know whether you are truly blind or not, but I have come to ask you one thing," the king said. "Will you give me the correct answer to my question?" In response, the blind brother said, "Your Majesty, you can ask me anything you want, and I will answer you." "You seem to be a wise man, and you seem to have a keen understanding of many things," the king continued. "Today I have summoned you to find out whether my wife is faithful to me or not," said the king. The blind brother responded, "Your Majesty, what kind of question is this? Your marriage has lasted for many years, and now you want to know such things? Why are these questions arising in your mind?" However, the king insisted, saying, "You must answer this question. If you do not provide me with an answer, I will punish you with the death penalty." Hearing the king's threat, the blind brother said, "Your Majesty, if you want the answer to this question, you will have to do me a favor." The king asked, "Tell me, what do I need to do?" The blind brother responded, "For that you will have to leave your wife alone with me in a room." The king was initially angry upon hearing this, but he eventually agreed to the request and ordered his commander to leave the blind brother and the queen alone in a room. At that moment, the blind brother expressed his desire to touch the queen. Upon hearing this, the queen became furious and started beating the blind brother with her hands, feet, and all her might. Afterwards, the blind man somehow managed to escape and went to the king. Then the blind brother told the king, "Your Majesty, your wife is unfaithful." The king, enraged, drew his sword and went to the queen. He asked her a question, warning her that any falsehood would lead to her execution. He asked if she was faithful or not, to which the queen replied, "Your Majesty, you may as well kill me, but I am not faithful." The king was overjoyed because everything the blind brother had said was true. Upon hearing this, the king immediately went to the blind brother and asked, "How did you know that my wife is not faithful?" The blind man replied, "Your Majesty, it's quite simple. I told your wife that I wanted to touch her, and she became so enraged that she started beating me. When I told her that I wanted to touch her, she could have simply refused, but instead, she began to beat me, and in the process, she touched my entire body. Now you tell me," he continued, "how can such a woman be faithful?" The king said, "You are quite wise. All right then, let us proceed. Answer one more question correctly, and I will let you go from here." The king then asked, "Tell me, am I truly my father's son or someone else's?" To this, the blind brother responded, "Your Majesty, why do you bother with this question? No matter who your parents are, you are the king of this state, so let this question go." But the king insisted, No, I want the exact answer to this question. Otherwise, this question will always bother me, so I want to know the truth." The blind brother responded, "Your Majesty, I can tell you right now whose child you are, but before that, I want you to promise that you won't get angry with me." The king said, "I promise I won't get angry with you." With the king's promise, the blind brother said, "You are indeed your father's son, but you are also under the shadow of a miserly merchant." Upon hearing this, the king rushed to his mother. He asked her, "Mother, please tell me the truth. Am I truly my father's son or someone else's? If you don't tell me the truth, I will give up my life right here." To this, the king's mother said, "Son, you are indeed your father's child, but you are also under the shadow of a miserly merchant." The king burst into laughter and said, "Whatever you ask for, I will give it to you. But tell me, how do you know what is right and what is wrong? How can you provide such accurate and precise answers?" The blind brother said, "Your Majesty, I am blind by nature. If I had eyes, I could easily understand anyone's thoughts. Based on this, we can discern the thoughts of anyone. However, I am blind, so I perceive through actions. If I want to know something, I assign a task to the person and observe how they perform it. Based on that, I can understand what is going on in their mind." The king asked, "So does that mean I can also know someone's thoughts?" The blind brother replied, "Certainly, Your Majesty. You too can understand anyone's thoughts. But first, you need to work on yourself. The key is to calm your mind and bring it into the present. Today, I will teach you 3 ways to achieve this. These methods are simple and easy, but before that, you must do one thing. Focus your mind. When we focus our mind and bring it into the present, we can understand the thoughts of others because they are also thinking in the present. If we are lost in past events, how will we know what the next person is thinking in the present? To know anyone's thoughts, the first and foremost step is to focus our mind and bring it into the present. After that, the blind brother told the king, "Yes, Your Majesty, I will tell you the 3 ways by which you can easily understand anyone's thoughts." The blind man then said to the king, "O king, the first method is to pay attention to the eyes. The most important thing when we talk to someone is to look them in the eyes, because the eyes don't speak, but they say a lot. If we learn to understand the signals in a person's eyes, we can know what is going on in their mind, what they are thinking, and what they are about to do. I may not have eyes now, but I learned this skill from the revered Gautama Buddha many years ago. He was my teacher and guide. Back then I had eyes and could understand people's thoughts solely through their eyes. So if you also want to know the thoughts of others, you should focus on their eyes, their gaze, where they are looking, and in what direction. If their eyes are wandering here and there while you're talking to them, it means they are searching for a way to escape from the conversation, and they might be lying. If the person is avoiding direct eye contact, it means they're afraid that their lie might be exposed, and people will learn the truth. But if their eyes stay fixed on you without moving, they are probably honest and interested. They want to talk to you and share their thoughts. Also, observe how their eyebrows move. If their eyebrows go down while they look away, they might be thinking hard or worried about something else. If their eyebrows go up and their eyes get wide, they might be surprised or curious about what you're saying. Pay attention to the size of their pupils as well, the black part of the eye. If the pupils get bigger, it means they like you or what you're saying. They are excited or happy. If the pupils get smaller, it means they don't like you or what you're saying. They are uncomfortable or angry. Additionally, notice the color of the whites of their eyes, the sclera. If the sclera is red, it means they are tired, stressed, or unwell. They might not want to talk to you. I remember a time when I met a tired traveler. When we talked, his eyes kept darting around, never focusing on me. This showed that he was worried and wanted to leave quickly. I suspected he might be hiding something and asked him more questions. Eventually, I found out he had a secret plan. Similarly, other facial expressions can help us easily understand a person's thoughts. Sometimes a person's face reveals different emotions. If you pay attention to someone's facial expressions, you can easily tell if they are disappointed, very sad, or extremely happy. You can also figure out what they are feeling inside. All these things can be determined through their facial expressions. Your Majesty, the face is like a picture that reveals what people are feeling inside, even if they don't say anything. If you want to understand people better, you must pay attention to these silent signs. When you see someone whose mouth turns down at the sides, making a small, sad face, it usually means they are unhappy, displeased, or have lost something. You can also tell by their eyes and body language if they are feeling low. On the other hand, a big and genuine smile, one that lifts the eyes and cheeks, is a sign of happiness, friendliness, and kindness. The eyes are very important in this. When they get small and shiny, you can be sure that the smile is real. Look at the space between a person's eyebrows where the skin wrinkles. When these wrinkles get deeper and tighter, it often means they are confused, thinking hard, or trying to understand something difficult or new. The way the mouth is positioned can tell you a lot. A closed and squeezed mouth may indicate that the person disagrees, doesn't like something, or doesn't want to talk. But a mouth that is open and relaxed suggests they are comfortable, open, and ready to talk. As you become better at noticing and understanding these signs on the face, you'll be able to discern what people are thinking and feeling inside, whether they express their feelings out loud or keep quiet. Their faces will reveal what's in their heart. Whether a person speaks with their words or not, you can understand everything from their face. Your Majesty, let me tell you a story, the blind brother said. One time, I met a sad person who came to me for help, but pretended not to care. However, I noticed a small line on their forehead which indicated they had a problem. I asked them to share their problem, and they did. After that, they felt better, and I was able to help them. A real smile makes the eyes happy, too. It means the person is glad and kind. A frown that pulls the eyebrows down indicates worry or confusion, while raised eyebrows show surprise or curiosity. You can tell how they feel just by looking at their face. Continuing, the blind brother told the king about the third method, saying, "Your Majesty, there is a third language too, which is the language of gestures and body language. To understand a person's thoughts, we need to pay attention to hand gestures and body language. When a person speaks, you may notice that they keep moving their hands and making gestures along with their words. Their body language plays a significant role in conveying what a person is thinking. Your Majesty, the body and the hands can say many things without words. It's like a secret way of communicating, where you can understand what people want and feel by the small things they do. For example, think about when someone taps their fingers rapidly while talking to you. This quick tapping may indicate that they are bored, in a hurry, or want to end the conversation soon. I remember a time when I met someone who wanted to sell me something, and he exhibited this sign. I knew he was nervous, so I persuaded him to give me a better price, which surprised him. Additionally, when someone crosses their arms, it might mean they don't like you or what you're saying. They are hiding their thoughts from you, and this way of holding their arms acts like a wall, keeping their thoughts and feelings safe from others. By recognizing this sign, you can be more considerate and careful when you talk to them, making them feel more comfortable and open. When someone leans forward, they might be interested in you or what you're saying. This gesture shows that they are listening to you carefully, indicating that they want to hear more. I once met a smart teacher who did this. He was very calm, but leaned in with interest, showing that he wanted to know more about the topic. Sometimes, people who touch their faces a lot when they talk to you can give you clues about what they are thinking. It often means they are worried, thinking hard, or having a big idea. These small touches reveal what is going on in their mind and heart. To be good at understanding others through their body and hands, you have to be patient, watch carefully, and appreciate the things they don't say. These small but important signs, like a silent book, reveal the feelings and thoughts hidden inside them and help you connect with them better. If we pay attention to these 3 methods and understand them correctly, we can quickly know what's going on in a person's mind, how much attention they are giving to our words, and what they are thinking. However, before that, you must focus your mind and bring it into the present. Only then can you notice all these actions, understand them, and realize what's going on in the person's mind. Otherwise, if you are preoccupied with past events or future plans, you will never pay attention to the person's body language, and you will never understand what they are thinking. You may have seen many great saints and enlightened beings who look at you with great calm and can tell you what's going on in your mind and what you have come to learn from them. The biggest reason for this is that they can read you and understand you because their minds are focused and peaceful, and that's why they can easily understand your thoughts. As we come to the end of this Zen journey, our team would like to express our deepest gratitude for your incredible support. Subscribe now to our channel for peaceful wisdom and inner reflections.